Hey, coming in hot from Caribou Coffee. I had a few thoughts on my mind after the 2.5 hour walk that I did from that crazy ass hotel from Wyndham Thailand. I have no intention of ever staying at a hotel again, besides it's the largest trap that you can ever get yourself into. But I do want to share a few things that I was thinking about on the way here. And I was wondering why housing is so damn expensive. And if you realize the market crashes every 8 to 10 years, and you have a 30-year mortgage, you spread out your mortgage 30 years, and then you live basically paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. Every time the economy crashes, they seize your property in your house. So within that 30-year period, they have 3 chances to seize your house if they're going to crash the economy every 10 years. That's just it's a horrible thought, but it's exactly what happens. You cannot tell me you cannot build a recession-proof economy if you've been building economies for years. It doesn't make no sense. And and as for renting places, do you really want to give your money to something that you're never going to own? Or you'd rather hold on to something till you have a chance to own something? And don't listen to me, I lost everything, but everybody has 20/20 hindsight. Nobody can perfectly predict the future. But the home loan and the mortgage thing just seem like a giant trap, especially if you're not managing your money properly, if you're living totally on debt and you can barely make your payments. It, it's just not a wise decision, because the pattern of events is usually every 8 to 10 years the economy crashes. If you ever notice that, just take a look at history. Just go back. There's always a recession every 8 to 10 years. It's almost like clockwork. But what it does, the economy rises, everyone gets into debt, because everyone wants this and wants that and wants this and wants that. Then all of a sudden the economy crashes, everybody loses it all, and it's seized. It's the biggest money grab you can ever have. And I was just taking a look at places, man. It's kind of expensive to live around here. And I was just walking by. I always see these U-trucks rolling around. I said, man, I bet it'd be cheaper if you just rented a U-Haul for a month and lived in it. I mean, especially for a single person, or even with a couple. I mean, the inside of some of them U-Hauls is pretty nice, actually. The only problem is it's poorly insulated. So if you're gonna do something, you better insulate it. They got good. They got good inverter generators that are very quiet. You can mount it on the exterior if you have to. You can almost build a camper out of those things. I mean, if you don't have the money to put up for a mobile home or whatever like that, I'm sure U-Haul wouldn't mind they're making money. If you're not driving us around, you're not being charged mileage. So they're making money, and I'm sure they don't care. Anyway, when it comes to land purchases, I would purchase something and make sure that it's only 60% of your income to make the mortgage payments. And if you maintain 60% of your income and save 10% and the rest is spending, it's probably the wisest decision you probably make. I didn't do it, but I wish I did. That's why I'm sharing this with you. As for new industries that are probably coming out, we have a big a big transition in the Uber and Lyft industries. Is basically an independent contractor industry, which is basically delivering everything. And I see FedEx and UPS and all these places delivering all the way. I wonder if a new industry would be like warehouse and delivery, like a private sector network for warehouse delivery of mail and goods and services. It might be cool. And as electric cars and the infrastructure start to build to support these electric cars, it'll actually be cheaper for the independent contractor to do these things, because electric cars are just a lot more reliable. There's less moving parts. I mean, from my understanding, electric motors, the only thing that really wears out are the brushes, and the brushes are pretty easy to replace. I wouldn't use brushless motors, because when brushless motors go out, you have to replace a whole lot of stuff. I never worked on a brushless motor, but that's what I heard. But I have worked on brush motors, and all you have to do is replace the brushes, and it's just pieces of copper. It ain't nothing. Yeah, return to the independent contractor. I think the independent contractor is an important thing. It opens the doors for everybody, and to deliver goods and services, mail, and all of that, it removes. Like, could you imagine if Amazon is already practically doing it. The Amazon that I work at, they're already locking in their delivery system. They have a warehouse that they receive the goods, and then it's distributed, and they're locking in delivery. They're monopolizing it. But they're with the new economy, that everyone is kind of staying home or working from home or all of that, and people just want their goods delivered and stuff. There's a market. Uber and Lyft are already picking up on it. Waiter, Uber Eats, and all of that. They're already picking up on it. I think the next step will probably be delivering of mail, and what it does it. But the only problem is there is issues with delivering mail because a lot of mail is secured or insured, and for an independent contractor to give them the ability to actually deliver mail, there probably has to be some kind of insurance policy that they sign on with whoever is contracting the deliveries. And then the more insurance that you're able to pay for, or the more money that you make, the more insurance that you're actually able to pay for, the more packages that you're allowed to deliver. That's probably how that's going to work. If it ever starts off, or if it goes off, or if it picks up, or what. But it's just stuff that I was thinking about on the way here, while I'm watching FedEx pass by constantly. Anyway, those were my thoughts. It was a 2.5 hour walk from freaking Wyndham, Thailand to my little home base here from Caribou Coffee, and it was a nice walk. It was a beautiful day. Thank you. This is going to be quite a journey. I'm glad for whoever's watching this. I hope nobody watching these videos, but if they do, whoever's watching this, thank you for joining me on this journey. I'll try to keep it interesting. I'll try to put some food for thought out there, and hopefully all is well. Hopefully we all survive. Jones out. Coming in hot from Caribou Coffee. Take it easy.